So you want to learn where you should be throwing your Valkyrie cameras. Well, we got that coming up. Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Different Breed, aka The Thrower, and in today's video we'll be looking at where to throw Valkyrie cameras on the map tower. Now I do want to pre-apologize because I wasn't able to actually record exactly the way I wanted to. I wanted to get two separate shots going on, one of me on the camera and one of another person like on the other team walking around and looking at the camera while it's on. However, I wasn't able to do that simply because the computer that I was trying to record with wasn't able to function and get as high quality recording as my main computer does. So that's just gonna have to sit in the back burner, I guess, until I get another PC so we can get some better, higher quality recording. So I'm sorry about that. Please forgive me. And I hope that this video will actually help. So let's get right into this, and here we go. Right now we're gonna be detecting the media center, which is right here. And we're gonna be detecting the exhibit room, which is right here. So what I like to do is it's a pretty basic, simple setup for up here. I like to see up in this catwalk here, be able to see down here, and be able to see from this way. That covers all the entrances that they can come over here on the east side. So what I do is I take my cams and I try and get it right there on that little elbow of this pipe here. So we aim it a little bit down, we get it right there on the elbow, easy peasy. And then when we look at this camera, we can see this doorway here. We can see that catwalk, kind of. We can't really see that corner, but we can hear them if we listen very well. And then we can also see, you know, up there just a tad bit. And we can see down below as well. So we know if they're coming from down below. And if they're looking through that window, we can see them 100%. Now this, I have to say, is a camera that I've seen some other people do before. I did, however, see it by myself first, but, you know, I don't want to, you know, toot my own horn, but I have seen some people do it before, though. So it is a kind of a known camera. You can definitely see the little speck there, but if you're not, you know, if you're looking this way, if you're focused on over here, you're not really going to see that. And if it is lit up, it's obviously a little bit more noticeable, but it's not that much more noticeable like that. If you're sitting up here, you obviously can't see it. If you are up this direction, you won't, you can see it, but you'll be more focused on looking down instead of looking up. So if people know about this spot, they might look there to see if it's there. However, if nobody scans on it and it is completely out of the way, people really won't tend to look at it. So let's go over the second camera spot here. This one was because I wanted to see this hallway here. Since this camera usually gets shot out, I wanted to be able to see this whole hallway. I also wanted to be able to see this elevator. So getting this hallway and this elevator is a little difficult. Now, if I throw it like on a ceiling anywhere, you know, it's easy to see this in this whole hallway here, but you cannot see the elevator. The reason for that is because this little wall here blocks when you put it up there. It blocks the sight for the elevator. You can't see it. So what I like to do, which is a good little thing on multiple maps, is I like to use these lights here. So lights will typically hide your Valkyrie camera a little bit better than putting it on regular stuff. I mean, if I put it on here, the camera's black, so it's gonna be, you know, hidden a little bit because of the black. But when I turn it on, it'll have blue and it'll be obvious. If you put it on a light, if you have like something flickering on a light, then people really aren't going to draw their huge attention to it, mainly because it's a light and lights are supposed to light up. So what I like to do is I like to take one and I like to put it on the light like so. And that's, you know, you can't really tell from here. Even we're looking right at it. You can't really notice a camera is even on there at all. It is right there. That is really difficult to spot. So if you run through here, then yes, it is obviously a lot more noticeable at this point. But at this point, people are usually, you know, coming down this way. They have looked around and they have tried to see that if there's a Valkyrie camera, it's right there. You can't really see it that well. So people are usually, at this point, they're usually looking down here. Or if we're coming from this direction, we have the same effect. It is right there, but it is not completely noticeable, especially if nobody is on it. So if we come from this direction, it is more noticeable So if people are coming from here and they're looking for a camera, they might spot it. However, I tend to run in a lot more successes than failures with this camera. And if we look at this camera, we can see this room here. So if they start creeping out of here, we'll be able to see from there. We can see their feet on the elevator over here and a little bit of the hallway, you know, over there. If we look this way, we can see gallery, that little hallway there. What is that actually called? We got gallery main here, and this is also gallery main, which is what I thought it was. So we got two gallery mains. So if we look over here, we can see that just a tiny bit. And that is also a choke point that we will be going over next. So in this little room here, which is also gallery main, interesting call out. I wish it was called something a little bit different because, I mean, it makes sense that it is kind of gallery main. I mean, it goes through the thing, but it is a little hallway. I guess I don't know. So what I like to do in here is, again, use the lights because lights are Valkyrie's friend. So these things even strobe and everything. So they are a huge distraction for cameras. So what I like to do is I like to just take my camera and just toss it right on the light, just like that. Now, this one is obviously a lot more noticeable if you're actually looking for it. You can see it 100%. It's it's definitely out of the ordinary, I guess you would say, if you're looking for one. But if it's on a light and when I'm looking at it, I wish I could show you guys right now, but I'm having issues trying to get the second angle. But if I'm looking at it, it's shining up. It's going to be a little bit more noticeable, but these lights that keep flickering, people may not notice when you put it on and you turn it off, just because the lights over here constantly change on and off themselves, so they might not even notice it. I've also had more successes than failures using this one here. Now, we can't really see down that hallway, but that's not what this camera is designed for. It is to be able to see over here and over here. So when they're pushing this little hall, which is what people typically do when they're trying to push this doorway here, they'll come down here, they'll either, you know, peek over here, they'll push in, they'll peek this way, and then, you know, they'll look down this hallway here. Or, you know, they do this kind of the same thing. They'll crouch down this way, and they'll be looking this way. They'll peek down this hall, and then they'll peek this doorway, and you'll get all of that on camera. So if you're sitting there calling out, they're in gallery main to the north, then it's something very easy. People can just look there, and they know exactly what's going to be happening. They're going to be pushing this way, and it's going to be easy peasies. 1, 2, snap a foo, you're dead. So that's the 3 cameras that I typically like to run on this site here. The gallery main hall, the gallery main kind of little corridor thing, and then to see the catwalk and east side of the media center. And 3 camera spots is not enough. So let me show you another 3 camera spot. We are going to be staying with the upstairs theme of this. So we're going gift shop now, and we're going lantern room. So we're going to be protecting these 2 things. So the first camera that we're going to show is up here. What I like to do is stick this camera up here in the high spots so that we can see up here in the catwalk area. We can see down here behind on the northwest-ish area. And then we can also see this hallway here. And you can kind of see the staircase there. It's not really viable for the staircase itself, but, you know, it gives a little extra headroom there that we can see. So this is mainly for this side right here, being able to see the catwalk, who's up here, what's going on, and also down below when they drop down and they're trying to peek around there, so we can protect this doorway here. That is mainly what this camera is for. Now, they can see it obviously from up here. If you place it in the right spot, this railing can actually block the view of that camera there. And typically people, you know, they stand over here and they look down and they fall down like that. But they look down and they're not really looking up high for cameras or anything like that. And then also if they're standing over here, if you throw it up high enough, then their screen, their timer and the score and everything up there will actually cover that when they look down. So it'll be like this when they, you know, when they're looking down at the place, and then it won't even be showing on their screen and stuff. So that's a pretty nice camera to have. I would say 50-50% chance of getting that, but yeah. So I think that people push from this direction more often than they push from other directions, at least what I've seen. So I like to double back over here and make sure if they shoot out that camera, we have something else watching. So we can toss a camera right here on this black part. Now this isn't going to be good for the light being on and such, but when the light is off, it's going to be hard to tell. If people are not looking for cameras, they're not really going to be finding this because they're going to be looking down here, and it is out of sight, out of mind in that peripheral vision. It is not really that noticeable, especially if they're concentrated on the game. They're not looking up at it. They're just looking straight ahead, like, you know, typically people do. And then this camera covers pretty much this hallway here. A little bit of the stairs. We can actually see both sides of that staircase. If we look on this one, we can see the south side, and then we look on this side over here, we can see the north side. So we can cover pretty much that entire platform there. And then also we got the east hallway here, which is why I like putting this camera as well, because then we got the west side here and we got the south side hallway over here. I don't know why I said east side earlier, ignore that. But we got the west and south hallways covered with this camera right here, which is why I like this one, because it's kind of a dual purpose. People push that door over there as well as this one. I see those two more often than anything. So I really like to have a good spread of camera work out this way. And the third, but definitely not least camera spot is I like to put it somewhere within this area. Now we can use the exact same camera that we use, which I do sometimes use this exact same camera that we showed earlier. And I like to put it out here, and so we can see this entire room here, because if people aren't pushing from over there, they're 100% pushing over here. But that's kind of a cop-out. I'm not going to say, hey, here's 5 camera spots and that's it. I still have 1 camera in my pocket, so we're going to find somewhere to put this thing. So what I like to do is I like to shove it into this room. Now, we have points of entries here. We have a point of entry here. Then we got one right here. Now, I don't really typically see people opening up this wall right here. And I don't necessarily know 100% why, but if we got people who are within this room here and they got stuff over here, then I mean, typically this wall isn't really a viable option to open. It's not really that great. But what I like to do is I like to kind of try and put it to where I can see this door and this door here, which is, it is kind of difficult to do. If we put it here, this thing is going to block our sight of this door, and obviously if we put it there, that's going to block it there. So if we put it, you know, somewhat in the middle here, try and get it a little bit further down, so we put it on one of these gray bars instead of on the grate here. We put it down there, we can see this door here, and we can see this door here, and then we can also see a little bit above here. If we come back here, obviously we're not going to be able to see a character at all. But if we come over here, if we got a thermite planting on this wall, we can see him. If we sit a little bit back, we can kind of see his tiny little head right there. You can see it just a little there. But we'll be able to see if something is happening there. We'll be able to see this doorway. If anything is happening in this corner and anything is happening in this corner over here, we'll be able to see. Even if they are trying to hide their skinny little bodies behind this, whatever that metal thing is called, we'll be able to see them still. So there is pretty much not very many spots to hide within this room if we put the camera over on this east side ceiling over here and putting it on this bar here, or you know, putting it on the bars instead of the grates. I don't really think that does too much of a difference, but you know, getting that down just a little bit gives us a little better sight. Possibly, maybe if we put it up a little bit higher, we could see over this more, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a difference. And I don't think it's going to really affect the game too much, because I don't really think people are going to just be chilling over here for the longest time and then making their move or whatnot. So that is it. That is the 6 camera spots. I'm sorry that it is not of the production quality that I want it to be, but hopefully someday we will get there and it'll be glorious. But for now, I guess you're just going to have to deal with me showing you the camera spots and showing you with them off instead of on. And yeah, so I'm sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this helped you out to place some better Valkyrie camera spots. I hope this even helped you think about where to put some better spots better. Yes. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Share this if you want. If you don't, that's also okay, but I do appreciate it if you do. I will catch you guys in the next one. So until then, stay different, everybody.